Okay, so here it is. So again, if you guys can kind of, I'm new to this. So DJ and I are over here by the window up in the platform. I'm raising my hand. I got the beautiful blue. Oh, I'm hitting stuff. What the heck? Wow. Um, Beautiful blue striped sweater looking like Bill Clinton. That's Clyde. I'm a guest here. But so DJ, raise your hand. DJ's the cool guy with the Kansas City Chiefs outfit over there. And what is that little baton that you have that kind of seems to
Oh,
differentiate you?
that's my laser pointer if I needed to do some laser pointing. So,
And so if I point at somebody and click, can they see that I'm pointing at them?
no, not necessarily. No,
Okay.
but yeah,
All right. So you've got the laser. Fair enough.
yep.
All right. So again, I'm just waving my hand over here in the doorway. Clyde Tabor, Visual Story Network in Southern California. This is a wild experiment. DJ and I were talking earlier today and said, we don't know that there's ever been a field trip in virtual reality. So if we're claiming history right here, and so you don't make history unless you have some challenges. So we're having the challenges, but I'm really enjoying the fact that I've got all these floating people around me. So anyway, and so we are Mission AR VR, just this coalition of people who are figuring out how the virtual reality world, augmented reality world can influence the kingdom of God. I see a floating skeleton head out back, floating skeleton head. Evan, that's really cool. Anyway, so DJ, if you know, is the founder of the first virtual reality church called VR Church. And DJ is kind of based wherever his Winnebago happens to be, which is where today, DJ?
We are north of Dallas.
Now he's in Dallas. So anyway, so DJ is our Sherpa, our guide, our mentor. And I don't know, I can't count, but it looks like we got maybe, I don't know, 15, 20, at least 20 some people in here, which is pretty exciting. So DJ, you take it away.
All right, thanks, Clyde. I appreciate that. Now, I'm really excited about this. When I'm gonna talk over here on the front of the stage. So if you feel free to spread out, here I am. If you guys, I'll wave my laser pointer so you know who's the one talking. But feel free to spread out. And we're going to go on a short field trip. I know that some of you Oculus Go users have limited battery life, so we're going to try to keep things moving. And also, too, I'm just going to do a mute all because I hear some people's feedback. So we're going to kind of go in and out between muting and unmuting. So when we want to hang out and chat, I'll just say, everyone unmute your mics. And so let's talk about your some menu options that you have. On your bottom left, when you're just walking around AltSpace, you should see a triangle surrounded by a bunch of different icons. All right. The big triangle in the middle will bring up a bigger menu where you can go to different places. I wouldn't worry too much about that right now. But above that one is your mute and unmute button. So everyone look at your bottom left, and that's going to be your mute and unmute button. It should be red right now. If it's not, go ahead and click on that just to make sure it is closed.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Um,
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And then the next one is your emoji button. So throughout the field trip, if you like something, everyone practice with your emojis. So even though you're muted, you can still give some reaction. You're upset. You're happy. Good. Good. So Michelle, maybe you can get some pictures. Well, I'll get pictures too. So by the way, feel free to take pictures on this trip. And let me have everyone do a bunch of emojis again. I'm setting up my camera. And yeah, hearts, claps, anything that you want. Good. Excellent. Got a picture of that. The next one is your personal bubble. All right. If I have mine off, so that means I can get real close to people, high five and all that. But if you're, you need some personal boundary, then click on that bubble there, personal bubble. And when that is on, people can't get up in your space. That's a couple of different things. The next one is the camera, at least on my menu. I think you Oculus Go users, maybe your sequence is a little different. You might have a teleportation button for Oculus Go that's in between. I don't have that button, but you can see there. I definitely have different buttons than some of you. If you get lost, here's the next important thing that we're going to do. So now everyone click on the big triangle that brings up your bigger menu. Your bigger menu should come right in front of your face like it's blocking everybody. You might have to move around if someone's in your way. But we'll talk about that in just a second. I want to close this. Go ahead and close that menu. It's on you should see a button that says close on the bottom right. If that big menu came up, hit close. And then here's what I want you to do. When you click on someone, depending on what your device is, their name should come up. So now I'm clicking on guest. I see his name. I see that I can message him a private message. Wait, hold on. I got to turn my around because my sensor's got all. And then I can see there's a mute button, and then I think I have kick. I don't know if everyone has kick. But as we travel around, we might run into some people, and 99.9% of the time, everyone is friendly, kind, and wonderful. But someone might squeeze in that'll be a troll. You know how the internet is. So if someone's bothering you, just click on them and click mute. And if they're really being a troll, then I'll just actually kick them. But we might just run into some people as they're going around. And AltSpace is very friendly, and we're supposed to have someone from Microsoft coming. I am trying to get a confirmation on that. They should be here soon. But they're going to talk a little bit about AltSpace. All right, before we continue the field trip, everyone look at me for a second. And I want you to click on my name, and I want you to add me as a friend. If you haven't added me as a friend, actually, I'll go around too and add you as well. The reason we want to do this is because if you get lost or separated in the field trip, you can find me in your friends list. And there is here, let me add this person here. Who is here? Let's see, add me as a friend. I think we got most people here. Michael, you're not added yet.
You can't do it, DJ, as a guest, I don't think. Is that correct?
I think you can. So one way we can confirm that, Clyde, is if you can go, because I added you, and it looks like we're friends now, is if you go to your menu and you go to people, and if you see my name, then that means that we are friends. And so if we get lost or separated, you want to go to your friends list and click on that arrow that's next to my name, DJ Soto. There should be an arrow pointing to the right, and when you click on that, that's going to teleport you to where I am. All right, yeah, and John, thanks for the note. I actually am recording it, so I think we're good. But yes, does someone have a question?
I have to go. Less than like 8 minutes. I'm in class right now. Is there any way I can have an overview or something?
Yeah, we're going to start there right now. We're just getting some housekeeping out of the way, but we can do a quick overview. So everyone good? I think we're all friends here. This is a great turnout. So let's all look over here at this screen.
As a guest, I have to create an account, which I'm not having success doing, so I don't have any friends. I love you, but I'll do my best to stay with you.
Okay. All right, cool. If for some reason, we're going to come back to this space. We're going to go to 2 spaces in our field trip, and we're going to come back. So if we get separated, just come back to this environment, bit.ly mission ARVR. Before we go on our next field trip here, I just wanted you to look at the screen. Can you see the words that say 1 billion over here where I'm at? Does that coming up for everyone on this screen? Give me some heart emojis or some head nods if you see it. Some sad faces if you don't see it.
Black.
Is it black?
It's completely black.
All right, it looks like some people see it and some.
See it now.
Yeah, some people see it and some people don't. All right, well, this is a picture I took at a Facebook conference. Hold on, let me do a quick mute all. Just getting some feedback. And then just on future, what helps in VR is the headphones that'll help with feedback if you keep hearing that. But this is a picture that I took at a Facebook conference. It was the Oculus conference. And over here, this little guy that you see on the stage, that's actually Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg got up and he made a bold statement. He said that he believes that, or Facebook has a goal to have 1 billion people in virtual reality. So this is this goal right here. If you can see the image, if you can't see the image, Mark Zuckerberg is over here on the right, and on the big screen it says 1 billion people in VR. So I want you guys to think about that just for a minute before we go on to our next environment. Facebook, the largest social platform on the planet, has a goal to have 1 billion people in virtual reality. And they put their money where their mouth is. They actually spent billions of dollars to acquire Oculus. I'm using an Oculus Rift right now. And that brings up a whole other question about why would a social platform software company get into hardware? So there's a vision that they have. There's a vision that Facebook has about virtual reality. And I don't know if you can even imagine this world of 1 billion people in VR, inhabiting virtual worlds, going to work, going to school, and even going to church. That's just hard to imagine. But technology has done some crazy things we couldn't have imagined. Can you, even 10 years ago, if I said, hey, you're going to be able to call a car to your phone and they're going to pick you up and take you where you want to go, like that would have just been like, oh, that doesn't seem possible. And as we look at the diffusion of innovation and technology, we see things that just seem impossible. And when you hear Mark Zuckerberg saying 1 billion people in VR, that seems impossible as well. All right. Well, enough of me talking. I said, what if, one day we go to work, we go to school, and go to church? Well, we're going to go visit virtual reality church. There's 2 ways we're going to do it. I'm going to put up a little portal here in the middle of everybody. And when you see that portal come up, you want to go ahead and click it. If for some reason that doesn't get you to it, you need to bring up your menu, which is the blue triangle on the bottom left, and you'll see a bunch of different things at the bottom: discover, events, activities, and the middle one is called worlds. So if you click on worlds, you're going to see featured worlds, and then there's a little arrow to go to page 2 on featured worlds, and you should see church world. Church world is the name we call virtual reality church, but we call it church world here in VR. So you want to open up your menu, you want to go to worlds, you want to go to featured, and you want to go over 1 page to church world. But I'm also going to put up a bubble here. But if the bubble didn't work, I wanted you to be able to, let's see here if I can find it. Oh, there we go. I wanted you to be able to follow me in. Okay, and also too, we're going to a public space, so don't forget your moderation tools. If you run into someone that's bothering you, or in the unlikely event. So everyone, click on this portal here. I don't know if Clyde's still there. Clyde, you still there? We're all clicking on this portal. A couple of guests over here. Ryan, you might want to click on that portal too. Guest. Over here, someone unclicked it. There you go, Clyde. Yeah, that one right there. All right, I think we got most everyone clicked on it. Make sure you don't unclick it, and here we go. I'll see you in about 60 seconds. It's kind of a purgatory type of area. Dude, this is loading right here. It's a big loading screen. Michelle, what's up? I think we're doing okay here. Oh, she got in the world. It might take a little while to load. All right, everyone. We're going to give maybe a minute or two because it takes a while to load up Church World Virtual Reality Church. So we'll give it about 1 to 2 minutes, and as everyone pops in, then we'll.
DJ.
Yes.
DJ, can I have a selfie with you? Because I've got a presentation next Thursday, and I want you to be in it.
Say what?
Can I take a picture?
Oh yeah.
Can I take a picture? Yeah. Where? Hang on. Where are you? Okay. Here. Right. Okay. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Hey everyone, if you're just popping in, I'm at the welcome desk over here. Let's give it about a minute or two to make sure everyone got in. And I wanted to wait for Clyde. It looks like Clyde's in. I see him, I think. Looks like there's a bunch of you kind of all... there you go. You guys are kind of... There you go. So if you guys want to gather at the welcome desk real quick. And welcome to virtual, wait, hold on, let me do a little mute all because I'm hearing some feedback. There we go. All right, welcome to Virtual Reality Church. This is the first church to exist entirely in VR. this wasn't the first building we had. We've only been in this building for about for about 1 month. So this is brand new to us, and I'll show you some different pictures where you can see our previous buildings. But when people come in, we have our greeting team that's right here. Behind you is the prayer area where our prayer team prays for people. And then over here is our amphitheater where we'll put up a big screen when the event is live, and we'll have we'll have music, we'll have sermon notes. And then here's something that we've been doing differently. I'm gonna kind of head in this direction. And if you guys want to teleport a little bit or turn, I'll go slow, because I know this is some of your first time in VR and you're just kind of getting used to it. But if you come over here to this entrance called Festival of Shelters, if you turn around, Festival of Shelters is kind of due west, I guess, once you spawn in. And what we've been doing is sermons in VR where you walk through the experience. So you see, let me get my laser pointer out. Items here, laser pointer. And you see all over here the scripture in the sky, and we'll actually read through the scripture, and we have a build team that builds whatever we're talking about. So this past couple weeks was from John chapter 7, where Jesus went to the Festival of Shelters, and then there's the temple over there. Next week, or this upcoming Sunday, we're talking about the woman caught in the act of adultery when Jesus was writing on the ground. And so over here you see some writing on the ground and some rocks that the Pharisees might have thrown. And so, yeah, this is Church World over here. If you look over to where my laser pointer is at, up there is Baptism Mountain. That's where we're going to do our baptisms. We just had that built up there. This mountain over here has pictures of our old building. If you're curious what was the building looked like in the older place. Yeah, so this is a virtual reality church. I don't know if Clyde, you still there? Looks like you're, I don't know if you got disconnected or not, but yeah, so anybody have any questions? Everyone feel free to unmute your mic. Any questions about what you've seen so far here in VR?
I love it, DJ. I love how bright it is. It's just like so, I don't know, it's refreshing. It's pretty
thank
cool.
you.
I'm glad we came.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Hey, DJ, what do you model the 3D world on?
So AltSpace has, the question that was asked if you didn't hear him is, what do you model in? AltSpace just created a new in-game world building engine. So previously, whether it was AltSpace or Sansa or High Fidelity or VR Chat, you would need to know Unity or Blender or some of those other things. But AltSpace has a world creator. And watch, if you guys look where I'm at, I'll give you an example. So let's see here. I can bring up a little piece of land, right? So everyone should see floating in front of me a little piece of land. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to grab it and make it a little bigger here. So this whole space, as you can see, was created entirely inside VR, which is very unique because instead of creating a world outside of virtual reality and importing it in, AltSpace has taken a different route, which I love. And all this is like little trees that we populated and then resized and made them much bigger. And so everything you see here is from an AltSpace library. There's creative ways. So it necessarily didn't have a path like asset that you see right here. So the build team had these small islands. They just made these big islands that you see in the sky. And they just made them really, really small and then created a path with them. So you have to be a little creative with some of the aspects of virtual reality and building. Anybody else? Any other questions before we move on?
How many people do you end up having come and attend what you do?
Yes, so we have, sorry, I'm on fly mode. So if I kind of start flying, just as the admin, I have, yes, so we started the short history of our church is we started out with like, a handful of people, about 5 people, and grew to 10 and then 20 and 30. So right now we probably are about 50 to 60 every Sunday. Some of our special events bring in over 100, like our baptism. When we had the first baptism in VR, there was like 130 people that came. So like on a Sunday, there'd be, people, milling about, walking around, coming to the prayer area to pray. People just hanging out the welcome desk. And And the thing about Church World is there's lots of things to explore, and we're just getting started with this. And I noticed the team. This wasn't here before. It looks like they built a new like street sign here. The Experience That Way main stage, Baptism Mountain prayer area. Clyde, you there, buddy?
Process when I was in service, I guess last week or the week before, when the room was kind of at capacity and there was an overflow room. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So the question that was asked is like, how many people can be in a room, or what is the overflow room? And so basically, in theory, AltSpace can be unlimited as far as how many people, but they need to create servers. I think that max out at 30. They can increase that, by the way. They can increase up to 60 or 70, but at an optimum size is about 30 per room. And so what happens, let's say the first 30 people come to church, and then the next 30 people get put in the exact same cloned environment, but they're in a different server. So that means that the people in the first room can't see the people in the second room, but they experience the church like they have, like if they were like there. So, yeah, so that's how overflow, we call it overflow. But yeah, and we have one of our leaders that is an overflow as well. All right, guys, let's go. If you're with Mission, yeah, what's that?
How do you handle things like worship and do you do a message, or do you only go through the experience, or
yeah,
what does that look like? And there's tithing, there's things, how does this translate over, or doesn't?
Yeah. So the question is, what's VR Church like as far as like worship and sermons? And so the short answer is, when people ask me that question, I say, well, VR Church is probably what your church is like, just in VR. So we have worship music. So if you guys look where I'm going, I know I'm flying, and but over here is where we gather on a Sunday, and the screen will be up there, and we'll have like lyrical worship video, or sometimes we have a couple of worship leaders who sing, and they'll jam on their guitar. And then I'll deliver a sermon. A lot of my sermons have been on stage here, but since we got into building over here, I do a lot of walking sermons. So I'll walk and do my sermon and bring everyone with me. And then we have small groups during the week, life groups. We have 2 life groups. One met this morning, actually. They might have actually been in here before we were. And so a couple life groups during the week. There's a large gathering on Sunday, small gatherings during the week. If you look over here on this side, there's this URL over here, and this is our Discord channel. Our Discord channel is where when we're offline, where we like pray for each other, hang out, announcements, that type of thing. Tithing isn't something that we haven't gotten into, just because of the nature of our environment. We don't want to confuse church and money. We don't want that to be an issue, because this is an atmosphere or environment that delves deeply into outside the Christian circle. So we wanted to be careful about that. So that hasn't been an integrated part. Although, maybe one day the Bitcoin offering will fly around and come to you and, hit a couple of Bitcoins in there, that type of thing. All right, your Go batteries are probably getting low, so let's go. If you were with Mission VR AR, there might be just some people from the general public here, which is awesome. Thanks for coming by. But come circle around me, because I'm going to put up another bubble. And we're just going to go look at a different world, and then we're going to go back to the other one. Let's see here. Let's get this made, let's see, and create a portal. All right, so we got a portal going here. And when we go to the next one, feel free to unmute your mics. I don't have a whole lot to say, but there's a maze there. We probably won't spend the whole time going through the maze just because of time, but feel free to take a stab at it, and feel free to unmute your mics, find someone to do the maze with, and then we're going to circle back to the other room before batteries run out. If you're with the general public, you're not with Mission AR VR, feel free to click on the portal. You can hang out with us if you want. All right, is everyone good to go?
I'm clicking, but I don't see that I'm connecting to the thing.
Do like one click. Or, yeah, you look like you had it.
Thank you. I was holding.
Yeah, just do a one click. All right, here we go, and we're going to launch it right now. All right, feel free to come tackle this maze. Feel free to walk in, walk around. And as you're walking around, I have my megaphone on so you can hear me from wherever you're at. And so for those of you that are particularly new to virtual reality, this is like, you're just kind of getting into this. This is like just the beginning. If you think of any technological innovation that has, from that has birthed, whether it was transportation, the automobile, Henry Ford, or the first computer, the first airplane, you think of all these different firsts, and you think of how they evolved into something that we couldn't even imagine. Like, think of Henry Ford. If we said, hey, I want you to look at this car, and it drives by itself, and you know what I mean? Like, in a complicated web of streets, more complicated than what Harold, he was used to. So if you think about the diffusion of innovation and its evolution, it's amazing that what was once considered, questionable usage, like I'm sure the Model T was like, well, that's fine, but I'm going to still use my horse. And then you see the diffusion of innovation. And so I think virtual reality is going to have the same thing. You are experiencing the beginning, the first of this technology, the birth of this innovation. I get, in one sense, virtual reality has been around for a long time, the idea of it, the implementation of it, but not at a consumer level, not where you just, hop onto Amazon or go to Best Buy and purchase virtual reality equipment. And so I think this is like a very compelling first experience that is even, hard to wrap our brain around. This is just hard to even imagine. And so I think it's going to be, we're looking at a couple years of the Oculus Rift being out, but can you imagine 10 years from now what it's going to be like? Realistic avatars, right now we have cartoony, robots and humans, but what about one day when you can create a exact replica of yourself? There's even things in like San Francisco that I saw where you can scan your body and put it into some of these virtual worlds, and you could create a lifelike avatar. I'd probably do that, and I'd probably, shed off about 10 pounds off the gut. And I think that'd be awesome. So we're just beginning something new. It's something that's early in its innovation. I'm really excited about the possibilities and how you can use this. Like there is an unlimited use. It's just the limit of our imagination is the only thing that's stopping us from how can we use this to impact the world, to have a positive impact, to promote spirituality and all those different things. And so I think it's an exciting thing. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I know you guys are still hammering through there. And because we want to go back to the other space and to see if the Microsoft representative is coming. I still haven't gotten 100% confirmation. They said they were coming, but now I haven't seen them. So if you are having trouble getting back to the space, in about a minute, I'm going to go there, and you can just follow me in from your friends list.
All right, so we're trying to get out of the maze, right?
Yeah, and I was thinking it takes a while to do it, so I just thought maybe after 5 minutes or so, we would just meet up in the other room, because we could do this for a half hour, trying to get through here.
I'm following somebody. I don't know if this is the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, the blind leading the blind.
Oh, I think that was you. Are you out of the? Are you still in here, DJ?
Yeah, I'm still in here.
Oh, I think I saw you, but you pivoted really fast. Well, I found Michelle. Hey, Michelle.
There you go. I'm lost myself.
Hey! I find random people, but I have no idea where we are.
Yeah, neither do I. I thought I knew where the entrance was.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here.
Oh, here it is. Here it
You
is.
need the flying mode. Here we go.
Here, I'll put a big thing in the sky to show the entrance. If I can find the entrance. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to put something in the sky if you want to walk towards, let's see here. So I've got this green prism really high. This is the entrance. If you guys can see, head towards that direction.
Just hold on and point way farther away, and you can jump. I finally got out of the maze.
Oh, yeah.
I got here.
Or if you can climb one of those ladders, yeah, you can teleport.
The maze. Yeah, teleport. Okay, that's what it's called. Got it. I'm not lost. I'm found.
There's a big green thing in the sky, if that'll help anybody.
Is that you, TK Nelson speaking? About being not nearly as lost? Maybe not.
Yes, I found the big green thing in the sky.
All right. Nice to meet you. My name is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, good to meet you. Where are you located, Ryan?
Northern California. Far north.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Okay, up in the forest.
All right.
Yep.
Was from Colorado Springs. Just moved here a little over a year ago.
Oh, nice. There's a few of us gathered here, I guess, who made it out.
I finally just teleported out. I got lost.
Yeah, me too.
All right, everybody. I'm going to put a portal here at the beginning to go back to our... actually, let me do one thing before I do that. Space. I'm going to put the link in the sky, just in case some people had forgotten the link, to go back to our original room. And then I'll create a portal over here. It was Mission ARVR, right? Does that sound right? Mission ARVR.
Mm-hmm.
So confirm.
Also, DJ, if you click your name,
Yeah, I think the
then
key is
it
becoming
brings
friends
us
with
right
you,
to the
DJ,
front.
because you can get anywhere if you're friends with DJ.
Yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say that too. Like if they didn't get in the portal. Oops, what's this here?
That works in the real world too.
Clyde is one of those people. If you know Clyde, you can like connect with anybody else in the world. That's my theory.
Yep, that's it.
True. Yeah, DJ,
Although Clyde's
I
lost in the maze now, so I don't know.
Clyde, if you
I think
click
Clyde was helping
DJ's
people on
name,
Zoom.
if anyone clicks DJ's name with the arrow by it, it'll bring you right back here.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yes.
because I
So
was lost.
we're gonna go to the room. If you are lost in the maze and confused, bring up my name from the menu, like El Michelle was saying, and click on. There's an arrow to the right next to DJ Soto. If you click that arrow, then you'll come to where I'm at. So let me
And
create.
you've got that bit.ly link there. How do you actually follow that if we went directly?
Do you have to type that into the browser? You can't click on that, right, DJ?
Right. Yeah, you have to type it in the browser.
Yeah.
So
So you're
let
going
me.
to create a portal jump.
Yeah, I'll create a portal. Let's see here. Meetup, and there we go. All right, guys. So we got a portal up and running, and if you are lost in the maze, click on my name. Here, there's Clyde. Look at him. Wait, Clyde, don't move. I'm gonna take a picture. That is funny. Wait,
Stay on the ladder, Clyde.
wait, stay there, Clyde. I'm gonna take a picture. Oh, that's classic. Okay. All right, Clyde, you can teleport over here if you can make it. If not, just follow me, my name. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna go to the main room.
Hello?
Hello, hello.
You are not alone.
I'll make sure to get. Oh, you know what? Clyde doesn't have. Then to click my arrow, I think he's probably gonna have to do the link.
Oh, you can't go through walls?
Hey DJ, can you take a quick selfie real quick because I
Yeah.
might have to run. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Some green.
We're
juice.
in.
You got it?
Yeah. Yeah. Can
Try
we
it
take
again.
one more?
Yeah.
Somebody like photobomb.
Mike's photobombing.
I don't know why my eyes are closed. That'll work. That's fine. It's so weird.
Closing
Thank
your
you.
eyes. Oh, thank you. All right, let's give Clyde a minute.
Nice to meet you, Michelle. And El Michelle.
Hi. Yes, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So, Michelle, you're on a go, right? Are you on
Capture
a...
this event. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so
Let's
Clyde,
see.
I'm gonna mute this and I'm gonna go over to join everybody. I can hear people.
Yeah, I'll wait for Clyde
So I
before
think
we
we
do
can hear
this.
people who aren't in the room.
So how are cultural norms different in virtual reality than they are in the real world? Or whatever, I don't know if this is real, right? So what do we call the other thing?
Actuality. So what was the question again? I couldn't hear very good.
So how are cultural norms different in VR? Like in some place like this, like do people behave differently? And
I think it's a multifaceted answer to you, but let me just tackle a couple. I think one of the things you find is people feel more comfortable opening up and being, because there's an avatar, so there's a sense of anonymity, and with that anonymity, that leads to authenticity. So I've had friends go, "Won't people be fake in VR?" I was like, "No, actually, I think they're more themselves because there's less of a pretense. They're not judged by weight, skin, race, whatever. There's just avatars, and so." And that's not to say people aren't fake or they change their identity, but I think that happens in the real world anyway. We're in the real world, we sometimes carry an avatar, a projected best self, in our different dealings. But that's one way. I think I've been in a couple. Yep.
I can understand what you're saying because, like, I spent 12 years in Asia. And I noticed that I act differently with Asians than I do with people in the States. And it's because there's like this different personal identity and you're perceived differently and I act differently. And in one culture I feel freer and in another culture I feel less free. So I can see how that would be different.
Yeah. And I think, oh, hey, Clyde. We were just waiting for you. Yeah, and I think let's see, I think what was the other one? That sense of anonymity. And then, even like in some political discourses, like, if you think of a controversial subject on Facebook and the, heated arguments and disrespectful arguments you'll see, in VR, when that comes up, there's less of a hostility because now we're talking face to face. Now there's a human being in this conversation involved. And so I've seen people from diametrically opposed views have a very civil discourse that on Facebook would have just deteriorated into who knows what, but in VR has been very civil because this person is here reacting to what you're saying. So that's something that I've seen that's interesting in VR. But okay, before we were supposed to have someone with Microsoft here with us. Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to toss it to you, Clyde. I was going to say Katie Kelly from Microsoft is coming. I don't think she could make it, so we will have to reschedule that. But Clyde, throw it to you, and I hope you guys enjoyed the little mini field trip.
Oh my gosh. So yes, yeah, just give a shout out to the guy with the sweater, the awkward sweater who got lost in the maze. How embarrassing is that? Like I couldn't get out. The only way I could get out was like to hit home and go back to the beginning and do bit.ly missionary VR. So, no, and it looks like I'm counting about 11 or 12 brave souls. I think we went from like 30 through the maze. Maybe other people just bailed in the maze. Down to about 11 or 12 of us. But that was a trip. So big thanks to DJ. Thanks to everybody else. So we kind of expected this to be a little bit bumpy. And I think it was bumpiest for me. And Carol, God bless Carol, who's been patient here in our Zoom room. She was trying to do the 2D experience and has hung in there just listening to my headset through Zoom to kind of join us, but in a very awkward fashion. So thank you, Carol. And thanks to everybody else. So I think what we'll do with this, and I never reminded you, DJ, but it was to record this. Did you happen to try that?
Yeah, we got it.